I'm quite a fan of the story of The Secret Garden. I've actually never read it, but I've seen the 1993 version many times. And in recent years, I've sought out other adaptations, and I always really enjoy the story. I'm always on the lookout for versions that I haven't seen. And when I discovered the 2017 version, I had a feeling this one was going to be a little bit different. And having now watched it, I can confirm that that is definitely the case. It definitely is different. And there are two ways of judging this. Did I like it as an existing fan of The Secret Garden? And would I recommend it if you've never seen The Secret Garden? And I can answer yes and not really. But that's not necessarily a criticism towards the film, and I will explain what I mean by that. This was released, of course, in 2017. It's written and directed by Owen Smith, based on the story by Francis Hodgson Burnett, with a cast including Glennellen Anderson, Amanda Waters, Max River, Erin Leigh Bushko, Sacha Dzuba, Mark Ashworth, Michael Vaughn, Paden Garrett Anderson, and Hannah Fierman. And this is a steampunk version of the story where Mary Lennox's parents die, she goes to live with her uncle, and discovers a secret garden. It's definitely different. So I did enjoy it, and I will expand on that in a moment. But when I said I wouldn't recommend it if you're brand new to The Secret Garden, it's not really The Secret Garden. It is and it isn't. The key elements are all there. It is very recognisable if you're familiar with the story. But if you watched this as your introduction and I asked you to tell me what the story is about, your recount of the narrative would be quite different to the true story. So the reason for this is because, well, it does have a steampunk angle to it. There is no beautiful nature garden. It's a lot more metallic and not necessarily at one with nature in the way that the actual story is. It is filmed in part at the Sloss Furnaces National Historic Landmark Place in Alabama, which I'd never heard of, but it looks great. The setting for this really works really, really well. And the characters are all likeable, they're all believable. They are, as I said, as with the key plot points, they're recognisable as characters from the traditional story. So if you're an existing fan, it's quite fun to see them take existing characters and put them in a similar story, but with a very different setting. And it's really creative and actually really, really well done, and it's really engaging. The costumes are amazing, and I want so many of them. I would wear so many of these. They're absolutely gorgeous. Visually, it's great. We have good camera work and lighting. As I said, the settings are all really effective. Not the kind of settings one would expect with the classic story, but for this steampunk version, it works very, very well. And as I said, if you're an existing fan and you like the steampunk angle, I think you'll find it to be visually satisfying, recognisable as the story, but with something a little bit more creative and just something a little bit different. But yeah, if you're brand new to The Secret Garden, you could watch this first, as long as you know that this is not what the story is actually like. Again, a lot of the core elements are there, but it feels very, very, very different, but in a way that's fun and creative. And I think their plan was to take the story and present it in a way that's new and creative, and that's exactly what they delivered. And I thought it was pretty interesting. Definitely a film that I'm happy to recommend if you're an existing fan of The Secret Garden. If you've never seen it, the 1993 version is, in my opinion, but I am biased because it's very nostalgic, it is, in my opinion, the best of the best. I haven't read the book yet. As I said, I keep meaning to. I will get around to it at some point, but I can definitely recommend the 93 version. And if you're a fan of the story, I'm also happy to recommend the 2017 one.